a new investor. Do I need to worry about Russia-Ukraine war?
As an investor, you do not know about global economy to start investing. As an investor, you should know what your requirements over a period of time. As an investor, what I need, do my capital will be safe? Do I get better return than inflation? If I stay invested for over a period of time, will it give better than my fixed deposits? If you are three questions, you can get an answer. You need not worry about about geopolitical, all that. Your intention is only to earn money beyond inflation, and it is not a short term. If your investment time horizon is beyond 3 to 5 years time, please ignore the noises which you are getting and concentrate only about your investments.
Your view on geopolitical, commodities price and inflation.
Geopolitical, we need not worry about much because geopolitical tensions, definitely I am not a specialist to talk on these subjects. Whatever my understanding of this, it will going to be a parameter which is Russia wants to show its dominance, and similarly all the Americans and the European countries want to prove them that they are also superior. Now Russia being one of the good country 25-30 years back, now they are also breaking away. So they want to prove the world that I am also superior. That is why the geopolitical tensions are happening. Geopolitical tensions which are short term, probably if the sanctions are slightly longer, probably the impact will be slightly higher for Russia. In turns, whatever the commodities coming from Russia will have an impact. And second question was a little paramount. You asked the question about commodities. Yes, there is no doubt. In the food sector, the wheat export is far higher from both the countries, and the steel or nickel, all that is going to be a requirement for industrial productions. Now we know that these kind of products, people know that there is going to be war. They could have sufficiently stacked the requirement for a couple of months time. If the war increases substantially and there is sanctions are quite longer, then probably the commodity will not move. Then there will be escalation in the commodity price. That's going to impact on the cyclical industries which predominantly going to use these few commodities. So commodities are a worrying factor that might try to impact. As long as you can able to pass on the cost to the buyers or end users, there's nothing to worry on that. And another question you are asking, inflation. Yeah, we saw that when the inflations are very higher, that will put an pressure on the economy. In turn, the interest rates are likely to go up. When the interest rates are increases, then automatically the pressure on the earnings is going to be there. When pressure on earnings is going to be there, stock price will get corrected or will be stay neutral for quite period of time. So with the inflation is a worrying sign of that. But as long as the government can able to manage between the inflation and the increase in interest rates, we do not worry much onto these parameters.
What will happen if sanctions are tough?
What will happen if sanctions are tough? So it's no straightforward answer to that. Now we saw that there was sanction on Iran for several years now. They can able to manage, nothing great happened to country. We also saw that there is sanctions are tough in Afghanistan, then you have not felt anything great. So the sanctions will greater extent will have an impact on the country which has been impacted. In turn, the country could not have a dealing with the country. For example, India is a country which will have more of a defense dealing with them. Probably your defense import could get restricted, or anything you have connected vastly with Russia is going to get impacted. But other way around, if you look at it, for example, India also is one of the big producer of wheat. If the sanction is that Indian farmers will get a better advantage because they can harvest more and then export it. So every side of negative also has a positive. We have to look at from that prism only. So sanctions will have an impact for the country for a longer period of time, but does not impact entire globe because of these sanctions.
What will happen if crude prices touches $100?
You see that when crude prices increases, it has its own impact. It is not that it doesn't have an impact. But we saw in 2008, the crude has gone from 100, 120, 130, but the government of India has managed it better. Similarly, with past experience, this time also government likely to handle this better. When they try to handle it better, probably we can able to see that pressure is ease off slightly. Even government also may reduce as corresponding to that, they may try to cut the taxes on the fuel. That may give some relief to the investors. But when crude price is from Russia is getting impacted, maybe they supply one third of the global requirement. When Iran tomorrow starts to supply that, probably that will get little offset on that pricing factor. And also we saw that whenever the crude prices increases substantially, then there is a soothing period and automatically crude price will get adjusted to that. Similarly, even if the crude prices increases, maybe in 3, 4, 6 months time, automatically crude price will get adjusted to the requirement of people. So it may crude price also may correct. So probably if the crude price increases, we have a pressure for 3 to 6 months time, not beyond it. Probably by the time if crude corrects, then things will automatically will get settled.
But huge sell off by foreign investors, why market not corrected to that level?
Everybody's doubt. Despite huge sell off by FIIs, how the market has not corrected to that extent? If you roll back 3-5 years back, whenever the FIIs have sells, the domestic investors and domestic institutions will not buy aggressively, because of that the market corrects very faster. But this time alone, because lot of new investors have entered last couple of years time and close to 5 to 6 crore of demat account increases, so much of retail participations are there. They are sitting with some money, they are keep on buying it despite high valuations. Because of this buying by the investors, domestic investors, whatever the selling has been happened by FIIs, it has been absorbed by the domestic investors. That is why the market has not corrected to the level it should have. So that clearly shows there is a purchasing power from the domestic investors, but at the same time you also have to slightly worry about, because the price is not getting corrected. That's a really the signal that the pressure is on us. For example, we look at it in the NSE 500, close to 51%, 51 stocks have corrected beyond 25%. So what investors have come very recently in the 6 months, 1 year, 2 years time, they could have lost already 50% of that money, 25 to 50% of the money if they bought the following stock. For example, if you look at Strides Pharma, it's corrected by 62%, and Dilip Buildcon has corrected by 58%, Solara Active Pharma stocks have corrected by 40%, and India Mart have corrected by 47%, Gulf Oil corrected by 47%, big names like Mahanagar Gas have corrected by 38%, MRF corrected by 25%, and Procter & Gamble corrected by 35%, Seat Tire corrected by 36%, in some of the IOL chemicals have corrected, Amar Raja batteries have corrected. These are the big names have corrected substantially. So the investors who have come now, there could have definitely a pressure on them. But this also good an experience for investors who have entered into that. That experience will help them going forward.
Market is corrected. Can I borrow and invest in F&O?
Yes, investors will get little worked up when they see the price have corrected. They always think that I saw this price at 300, it has corrected by 200. They immediately see I saw at 300, it is 200, it's a very compelling buy, I go and buy it. From 200 it corrects by 200, then they think it's a very compelling buy. But it's always been said that don't catch the falling knife. When you try to catch the falling knife, you don't know how you will get impacted. So when you are trying to invest in, try to do homework and then try to invest. And the more worrying aspect is that F&O. When you are trying to leverage your investments, probably you may get trapped. Here I want to narrate a story which has happened in a real time in 2008. I used to write a column for or media. So a lot of followers are there. One of the followers has given my phone number to another person from Bangalore, asked them to speak to me. The person asked me the question, sir, I am planning to suicide, though I want to commit suicide. I thought I can talk to you. I said so jokingly, sorry, I am not giving any advice for suicide and all. I am on people give suggestion and advice only for investments. Then I asked him to narrate what has forced him to take such a strong decision. Despite this person was working in an IT, one of the leading IT company in Bangalore and earning substantial money. What the mistake he has done during the 2008, he saw the prices are jumping up in 2007. His father has got retired in late 2007. So he took father's money which has been earmarked for his sister's marriage and started to trade in F&O. Unfortunately for him, first couple of trades was big, so he made quite a good money, and with that aggression he started to leverage and start investing it. All his calls in 2000, early part of 2000, market started to correct, he was borrowing and supporting. He lost substantial big money, what has been earmarked for his sister's marriage. So he's got little frustrated and he wants to get suicide. So that is why my humble suggestion to all that, don't leverage and invest it unless you are 200% sure, and nobody in equity market cannot be 200% sure. So the simple suggestion is that don't leverage and invest it. If you want to leverage and invest it, please put 5 to 10% of your capacity you can able to manage. Assume you lose entire 100% without too much of headache to the family and yourself, you can able to manage, then leverage and invest. If you don't have the capacity to manage beyond a limit what you can able to leverage, please don't leverage. Do understand equity market is a wealth creation place. Don't leverage and make it as a casino and then getting into
Sir,
pain.
it was really eye-open for me.
Welcome. Suresh Parsadi, Certified Financial Planner and founder Mindset Consultant, signing off. Stay tuned with us for more investment related suggestions